I heard the roar. I grabbed my dog and went and laid down, and here we are now. I mean, it's destroyed. I was asking God to spare me, and He did. He saw fit to see me through to another day.
And we will rebuild. That is the word tonight coming from Oklahoma's governor and hundreds of tornado victims here in Moore, Oklahoma. We are live here tonight in Moore, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, the search for survivors and the deceased is coming to a close.
However, a Moore's fire chief says every home is going to be searched at least 3 times just to be sure. Here is the latest casualty count tonight. At least 24 people were killed, including at least 9 children. National Weather Service now says it was an EF5 tornado with winds topping 200 miles an hour.
Now the sun is shining here in Moore right now, but for most of the day it was flat out miserable. The rain was just pouring down, and that's when we met with one family who was just starting to pick up. Tell me what the process is today, just trying to clean up. How do you even start?
Like, at first we were just, you know, picking at the little things, and then just the backyard is worse, and so we're just dreading it. We're just like, okay, well, if this isn't enough, then just taking it to the backyard, just like, oh my gosh, we have a whole new day.
Yeah. Notice that you have a lot of friends and family here.
Yeah.
What's that like, knowing that so many people have come to your rescue?
It's actually pretty heartwarming.
I was admiring young Mackenzie cleaning up the yard from afar. You're doing a great job. It's just overwhelming to see how many people just jump in and just do their best to save what's important to them.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, I mean, I'm very blessed that our house didn't get destroyed, but you know, it's crazy.
You have friends that's lost their house.
I've had friends that's lost my house, and I'm just, you know, my prayers go out to them. I'm just like, it's crazy.
Monica Staggs and her family have lived in that home for about 11 years, and a heartfelt thank you to them for taking just a few minutes today to chat with us.
So many stories of help and heroism here in Moore after the twister yesterday. A Moore pastor captured video of the twister right before it slammed into the movie theater here in Moore. He took shelter with his son-in-law, who's from Green Country. Then they ended up saving some lives yesterday. Channel 8's Caitlin Alexander takes us to some of the worst destruction where Tulsans are already hard at work.
The roof is entirely gone from this building that used to be a title company. And this is where that family from Powerhouse Church rode out the storm. Imagine coming up to this door and just looking out this way. Everything in line of view is a funnel coming directly your way.
I'm going to share a little bit of what happened in the storm, because it was just incredible how it all set up.
Set up with a funnel nearly as wide as his phone will allow Pastor Larry Hutchinson to film, and barreling directly at the title company where his loved ones took shelter.
We could see the circulation, the rotation, and then you hear a guy say on there, guys, I think it's time that we wrap this thing up. Let's get down there in the cellar.
At his side, his father-in-law Sam, in town from Berry Hill for a granddaughter's 6th grade graduation, or possibly for some larger plan.
God has the big picture. I don't.
A family friend recommended the cellar of the building near Warren Theater, an area completely pummeled. They helped pull 17 people from the rubble of a clinic just next door. The church a few blocks away without power, but they're already readying to continue the help, gathering supplies with the help of Foundation's church in Tulsa to open its doors to those in need. Because whether physically wading through the rubble or staying on in the aftermath, Green Country will not abandon Moore.
Your church will help you, whether you belong to it or not. Your church is here to serve you.
And Foundation's Church is taking donations to bring here to Moore. They're located off I-44 and Yale. They have enough food, they say, but they are taking things like diapers, also feminine hygiene products, toothpaste and toothbrushes. They'll be taking those donations until 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, it's just one example of so many people and organizations here in Moore helping out. As soon as we landed in Moore this morning, we found the command post for the donations that are coming in and going out. It's at the Home Depot parking lot at 19th, right off of I-35. The American Legion out of Tulsa is here. They were unloading their trailer full of water and a lot of food there for the first responders. The American Legion has committed more than $1 million to the disaster area to help veterans.
We spent all last night getting our truck out here and bringing this stuff together so we could help with the disaster area. And in addition, the American Legion's committing $1 million for this community to help veterans and their families. We have a couple programs, and they need to call our 800 number or apply through our local Legion posts or the department headquarters, and they can get grants up to $1,500 to help with expenses, immediate expenses. And it'll probably, if they submit the grant, maybe they get the money in 2 or 3 days. It's pretty quick.
So the help for veterans is available. It's out there.
Yeah.
They just need to know.
They just need to go to the American Legion, go online, legion.org, or there's an 800 number, and it'll tell you how to get the money, and then we'll follow through as quick as it can. But we have committed $1 million for this disaster area.
How does it make you feel to help out like this?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, the Legion is very considerate of the veterans, and we want to take care of them and their families and whatever we can do, because everybody knows what the veterans have done for this country.
$1 million. So the help is out there for the veterans touched by this disaster.
Let's head back to Tulsa right now to get the latest on the weather in northeastern Oklahoma. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Zeppelin. Jennifer.
Hey guys, yes, as we take a look at our situation here, we have seen significant or heavy rainfall through a large portion of the day, and even severe thunderstorms breaking out over the area. But we're going to go ahead and walk back over time, show you some of the video coming in from one of Tulsa Channel 8 storm chasers, John Haverfield. He was right on top of this monster storm as that tornado formed over Moore, Oklahoma, and ripped across that area. You can see the debris field, the debris being caught up in those winds, as Mark and Kristen were talking about, now an EF5, which means winds in excess of 200 miles an hour. When you think back on how many EF5s that we have seen in U.S. recorded history, this is the 59th EF5 that we have ever seen in the United States since 1950. Want to show you this as we take a look at HD Max 8000 back at around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Not a whole lot going on across the state, and then all of a sudden these thunderstorms just started firing up and producing those incredibly large and massive and destructive tornadoes all across eastern Oklahoma. Over the last 48 hours, about a dozen reported tornadoes across the state of Oklahoma. And watch as we walk through time, we saw one big wave come through of severe storms, another wave coming through, and then we had another line building over Oklahoma City, pushing off to the east. And while the rain is now beginning to finally taper off across the area, and the most significant portion of the storm is moving out, we'll start to see clearing skies, and that rain, that heavy rain threat is starting to push out of southeastern Oklahoma. Some areas over the last 24 hours have received over 4 inches of rainfall. We'll have more on those totals and what's in store for your Memorial Day weekend forecast here in just a little bit. Charles?
Thanks a lot, Jen. At least 3 dozen emergency responders from Tulsa are in Moore right now helping with the recovery efforts. Briefings were held this afternoon. That request came from the State Department of Emergency Management. The contingency from Tulsa includes the Sheriff's Office, Tulsa Police, and fire personnel.
We're loading up, and we're going to take 7 team members from the police department down to Moore, Oklahoma, where we're going to plug in and help with the command post of coordinating the response there at Moore.
Now, some of the crews are expected to stay in Moore until at least Friday or longer if they are needed. And the relief efforts for the tornado victims, as you might expect, are ongoing. The Salvation Army and the Red Cross are always good starting points for your donations. But as Channel 8's Yvonne Lewis explains, there are other ways we can help as well.
The images from the tornadoes always compel people to give, but how do you know what's the best way to help out? We've come to the Red Cross for answers.
10 years and 5 gallons of blood later,
I've got O positive, which is a common and universal.
Tom Hardesty knew he had to do something. Some people give green, he gives red.
So I said, well, I think I'll go in and start doing it again. So here I am.
Whether your giving is red or green, the giving is good.
A financial donation allows the Red Cross to buy the supplies that are most needed for this specific disaster.
Here's the issue with people giving items. It's storing, sorting, then distributing them. For disaster responders, immediate help is the priority. Watch as the Red Cross had an emergency of its own while we were there.
And there are other areas surrounding that, and even some areas right here in Tulsa. Sorry, our generator will kick in.
For the Red Cross, it's also hoping the donations will keep coming in. It's the juice, like the generator, that keeps their services running.
Every donation is appreciated, but we just encourage people to think ahead and maybe plan for helping out down the road a little bit when some of this initial goodwill has already been expended.
We provided information about the Red Cross and how to help on our website. Just go to k2l.com. In East Tulsa, Yvonne Lewis, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Well, the Red Cross is making giving easy. If you want to help with a $10 donation, just text the word Red Cross, that's one word, to 90999. That's 90999. The Oklahoma City Thunder and their star Kevin Durant are both making $1 million donations to the tornado relief effort. Durant is pledging his $1 million in matching donations to the Red Cross. He's told his 4 million Twitter followers he'll donate when they pitch in. Chesapeake Energy also has the naming rights to the Thunder's arena, so they're not going to be outdone. That company is also kicking in $1 million. In addition, Chesapeake is offering trucks, machinery, and workers who can volunteer on company time. Country star Toby Keith is from Moore. He says that town is strong and will persevere. Keith grew up in the area that was hit. He says he remembers riding his bike on some of the very same streets that have been wiped out. Now, casualties at 2 schools and more have parents wondering about the safety of local students. Do those old duck and cover storm drills really work? And should storm shelters be required at all schools? The answers to those questions are coming up next.
And after 3 days of severe thunderstorms breaking out over Oklahoma, the severe storm threat is starting to taper off across the state. I'll show you what kind of impact this storm system is going to have on our area here over the next couple of days.
There are many injured people in Moore who need blood to help them recover from their injuries. Fortunately, the blood supply has been sufficient so far. The Oklahoma Blood Institute is providing all the blood for all the hospitals in that area, but they want to be ready if more is needed. So they're now looking for more donors, especially donors with O negative and RH negative blood. Anyone who's over 16 years of age and in good health can help out. Their office is on 81st Street, just west of Yale. Let's head back to Kristen and Moore for the very latest live on the tornado scene. Kristen?
Thank you, Charles. You know, people all over the world are reaching out to help the victims here in Moore. Probably the most heartbreaking are those who lost their lives at such a very young age. 2 elementary schools took a direct hit from this massive storm, Briarwood and Plaza Towers. 7 children died at Plaza Towers, and we were told the walls at both schools were either flattened or just blown away.
With 2 schools ruined and many students either killed or injured, some parents are asking today, how safe are our schools? Channel 8's Ethan Calloway brought the question to a local school leader today and got her answer.
After Monday's devastating tornado in Moore, if a tornado were to hit a school in your community, would your kids have a truly safe place to go? It's a question that's on a lot of parents' minds. How well protected are students in Oklahoma's schools? Right now, students at most schools in our area practice the crouch and cover drill during tornado warnings. Bonnie Rogers with Jenks Public Schools says they're no exception and that installing an underground storm shelter would be impossible. The city is too prone to flooding for underground structures. Even with roadblocks like this, Rogers says preparation is the key to safety. But even with every possible precaution taken, there's no way to really be 100% protected.
It's one of those things that if a tornado of that magnitude were to hit, unless you're underground, it's difficult to have a place that would be perfectly safe.
And Rogers says the school board trains staff every 2 years to be prepared for scenarios just like the one we saw yesterday in Moore. In Jenks, Ethan Calloway, Tulsa's Channel 8.
All right, thanks, Ethan. Ethan also spoke to Broken Arrow schools today about their safety procedures. They said they were unable to talk on camera. They said they were busy evaluating their own safety procedures, saying faculty and staff are on edge after what happened yesterday.
And I know a lot of you all have questions about the above ground storm shelters. We are going to be asking and looking around to see if they held up in this massive storm. For now, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Zeppelin. Jennifer.
Thanks, guys. Yes, as we take a look, I mean, it has still been a significant severe weather outbreak, even today. Not the tornadic outbreak that we've been dealing with over the last couple of days, but still significant rain moving across the area. Here's one of our storm chasers, Tommy Stroud, that was out around Muskogee earlier today. Significant heavy rainfall. This area receiving anywhere up to about 4 to maybe 5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. The grounds are saturated, but the rain is starting to move out and the system is leaving Oklahoma. Finally, after about 72 hours of severe thunderstorms breaking out across the area, we take a look at HD Max 8000 right now. One wave after another impacting the state. Line after line of tornadoes developing across the area. Really, over the last 2 days, we are probably looking at about a dozen tornadoes developing in these storms that formed across the area. The most significant around Shawnee and Moore, Oklahoma. EF4 to EF5s being reported across the state. As we take a look at what is going on right now, though, the biggest pocket of severe thunderstorm activity is down across northeastern Texas into Arkansas and moving into Louisiana. So over the Arklatex region off to the east of Dallas, that's where the severe weather threat's going to be, with tornadoes, severe thunderstorms producing hail, lightning, gusty winds. And notice that we are now just on the backside of this storm system. Very light rain continuing over parts of Tahlequah, but Tulsa, we are in the all clear. Overcast right now, but the clouds should slowly begin to break apart here over the next 24 hours or so. Sunshine returning to the area. So much calmer, quieter conditions moving into green country. Light rain, though, stretching from Stillwell to Sallisaw. The heaviest stuff into eastern or western parts of Arkansas right now. Fort Smith looking at some good moderate rainfall. Lighter rain now in Poto, Tallahena. And then as we travel down to the south, we are still looking at the concerns because the grounds are saturated for some flooding, but overall this should be improving here over the next several hours. But as I said, some of these spots receiving so much rainfall that it is just tremendous over the last several months. Significant rains over southeastern Oklahoma. That severe weather threat pushing into Texarkana, right along Interstate 30, so the threat is moving out of the state. Look at how this system has impacted our temperatures today. Right now, we're sitting in the 50s and 60s. Some areas that are looking at much drier air bumped the temperatures back up to 70 there in Ponca City, 67 in Stillwater. Looking from our Creek Nation casino cam, looking at several of the views right now from Okmulgee to Bristow, even Eufaula. We're still looking at plenty of cloud cover around. It is muggy outside. We are looking at 96% humidity. Winds are beginning to shift somewhat from the northwest, so some drier air moving into the region, and that's going to take hold here over the next 24 to 48 hours. As that system moves out, we may see a little bit of cloud cover in the morning with lows in the 50s. Then we're going to bump those temperatures up into the 80s, so some relief moving in. However, as another little kicker back to the west, may keep the chance for showers and storms back in the forecast here for the next 8 days, but no significant severe weather expected across the area. Just slight chances for some late day showers and thunderstorms due to the heating across the area. And notice really what ends up happening to our temperatures. They just slowly keep climbing over the next several days, closing in on close to 90 degrees as we head into Monday. So Memorial Day, we are looking at a little drier conditions. Memorial Day shaping up to be a nice one across the area, just a hot one for sure.
That's a relief.
Yes, it is.
Thanks so much, Jen. When we come back, Channel 8 returns live to more for a recap of today's events, plus more in this unbelievable scene coming up.
Incredible images are coming out of Moore, Oklahoma. 10 bowling pins are still standing, though much of the town was leveled by Monday's powerful tornado. At least 24 people were killed, including 9 children. The tornado was estimated to be at least 2 miles wide at one point as it moved through Moore. Again, the National Weather Service is now calling it an EF5, with winds topping 200 miles an hour.
That is incredible. It's good to see so many organizations stepping forward to help out. We've compiled all those places in one place. Just go to our website, k2l.com.
Red Cross is also making it very easy for you. You can make a $10 donation by texting the word Red Cross to the number 90999. Again, that text is just the word Red Cross to the number 90999.
Earlier today, the Governor Fallon, mentioned this is the most horrific disaster the state has ever seen, but she followed up by saying, we will overcome. And about an hour and a half ago, I talked to Lieutenant Governor Tom Lamb, and I asked him, what do the people need the most right now? Without a blink, he said, they need prayer.
And they have good spirits right now and lots of will. I spoke with one group, and they said they have lived here for the past 14 plus years. So they have lived here in Moore for the past 3 tornadoes that went through this town. I said, there comes a point where you have to question, is it time to leave? And they said, no way. Families here, this is a community. Whenever anything happens, everyone comes comes together and it all works out. They come together to survive this.
And right now the sun is out after another gloomy day. Beautiful out here right now. That's our news tonight. Thanks for watching. Wheel of Fortune is up next.
We'll see you at 10 o'clock back here live from more.